Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith. I'm an independent silver demonstrator based in the United Kingdom, and that means that I have a little team of demonstrators that I look after, and then I'm part of a much bigger group as well. But today I'm talking to you about a couple of a stamp set and some DSP that you might want to get your hands on. This is Nuts About Squirrels. It's currently in the July to December catalogue, but it is going to carry over. But it is a really cute stamp set. It's a two-step stamp set. That means you stamp the outline and then the infill to create these fabulous little squirrels. And then I've paired it with the Beauty of the Earth DSP, which is in the annual catalogue. It's one I actually got a share of as part of a training that I went to, and do you know what? I rather like it. So I thought it was perfect to go with the squirrels. So on the one side you've got lovely tree-themed patterns, and on the reverse some more neutral sort of overarching patterns. This one is a lovely sort of wintry, sort of misty moonlight one. These trees are absolutely beautiful. Green, yeah, I can leave it. Rather like this one with the bumblebee. So the colours are bumblebee, Cajun craze, cinnamon cider, early espresso, merry merlot, misty moonlight, mossy meadow, and night of navy, and it's all 12 by 12 paper. This is a fabulous one, a lovely wood grain one. I think this one's really pretty with the blues. That's more my kind of colour scheme. And then this one is lovely, got all those autumnal colours in it. And then it's a shame because it's paired with this other one, which I think is beautiful, this one with the merry merlot and all the different colours in. So absolutely really pretty papers, and as I said, I just thought they were great to use to create a card. And of course, being Sunday, it's a fun fold card. So here we go. This is our happy birthday card, and this is a variation on a card that I saw on stampbystampcreations.com. So they called it, I think they called it, what do they call it? A overlapping flap fold. So that'll give you an idea. So this one opens up. So you've then got some lovely paper, and then it opens up, and hope you're feeling bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And then I've then created it into a card that then opens up on the inside. So it's going to stand up really nicely. The one they had didn't stand up, and I kind of go, you know, I just don't feel right sending a card that doesn't stand up. So and then obviously it's nice because you've got a kind of a hidden surprise in there as well. So that's our card. Let's get cracking with the project. Okay, so to start off with then, we're going to do some stamping. So I've got two pieces of basic white, one for the front and one for the side, and then I will also need a piece of card for the inside as well. So so these three pieces are 6.5 by 9.5. We've got 8.5 by 9.5. Let me get that right. 9.5. Yeah, 8.5 by 9.5, and then a standard 10 by 14 piece of cardstock. So that would be for this. It would be. I'll measure it. I'll put. In fact, I'll put the measurements for Imperial on my blog. Save getting confused. So it's a photopolymer stamp set. So as you'll know, I always recommend using your Stampin Pierce mat if you're doing photopolymer. As you can see, I've got some scrap paper here to save messing up my photopolymer, my Stampin Pierce mat as well. So we're going to start off then with our lovely outline. So I've got these on some blocks. This is one of my blocks that I had in a kit. Always worth noting that with our all-inclusive kits, you do get like a travel block, which is great. They're not quite as ergonomic as our main ones, but they are really useful. So I'm going to use a whole range of these autumnal colours. I'm just going to recreate something very similar. I've got some early espresso here. So I'm actually stamping the outline of my squirrel in early espresso. I'm going to pop it there. There you go. Then I'm going to do my inner one, inside one again in early espresso. I managed to do a fabulous smudge on there with my finger. Okay, quick turnover on that one, and back to my inking. There we go. Try and keep my fingers out of it this time. Okay. Then the sentiment I'm going to do, and I'll do that in early espresso as well. So, fun happy birthday, and that can just go in the top corner there. Okay. And then the inside sentiment, actually I think we'll do in some Cajun Craze. Sadly, the only squirrels I get in my garden are grey squirrels, but there we go. Okay, so now we want my early espresso, and we're going to do some branches. So this is where I'm just going to pop my piece of just a bit of scrap paper underneath, and that will allow me to come off the edge of the card without damaging it at all. So I'm going to kind of pop the branch there to start off with. I'm going to just extend it by stamping again. And then I just pop another little bit of the branch over here so we can get some fun leaves. Then I'm going to do the same with this one here. Because these branches as they are aren't going to hold any kind of squirrel. If it's anything like the squirrel that I have in my garden, he's quite a chunky chap. Up another bit there. There we go. Again, apart from dropping that in my ink. There we go. Okay. So my early espresso then I'm then going to use for adding my sort of leaves. So what I've just done is pop that on a block. So it almost kind of extends the branch as well. Yep. So I might just have an extra leaf just on the edge here as well. Again, rules of odds, sort of 3s and 5s is what I'm usually looking at on these. And again, some quite nice little sort of extra bits, so you can easily pop some leaves on. And obviously you could always have them coming in from the side as well if you wanted to, up in this corner here. So pop that to one side. Pop my branch out of the way. Then I'm going to come in with my bumblebee now for the leaves. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to perhaps add a little bit of Cajun Craze as well. So, just adding some... Oh no, wrong one. Okay. There we go. So, ink it up using your bumblebee. And then that then just lines up over those. Ah, that's working really well. So again, just a way of creating kind of two-tone leaves. And obviously the reason I'm stamping off afterwards is because what I don't want is for my ink pad to get contaminated. And being photopolymer, it's really easy just to see where you're lining those up with those little veins. And I found that when I was playing around was a better way to kind of get my leaves to kind of line up. I'm actually going to just do an extra one down the bottom here. There we go. So let's pop that to one side, and we can do the same effect on our front panel. So again, our bumblebee. Sponge daubers are fabulous for adding just that bit of colour, and you could obviously vary this with whatever colour you wanted. You could add a bit of Merry Merlot onto it. The only thing I would say is just be careful because they're little blocks, not to drop them, which I've almost done a couple of times. And keep any inky fingers out of the way. I do tend to get really quite inky. Can't seem to keep my fingers out. There we go. All right, so now we've got our leaves done. Oh, what I haven't done is done the leaves on the inside. So the leaves on the inside I'm actually going to do as well. Again, it's just that sense of having something that's a little different. I'll keep it simpler, just because it makes life easier on the inside. You could add the veins of the leaves, but I kind of thought if I did a falling sort of autumn effect just on the inside there. And now to do our next bit, which is to actually stamp our squirrel. So our squirrel, I'm using Cajun Craze, inking up, and it's photopolymer, so you can see if you've got good coverage. And now if you struggle with this at all, stamp off, give it a good wash. I was able to stamp with mine just perfectly straight off. So I had no problems at all. That one I probably haven't lined up quite as well as I could have done. But hey, there we go. If that bothers you, just a little hint, grab a block and a blender pen, and you can just fill that colour in. There you go. Otherwise he's going to look a little bit like a kind of a funky skunk, isn't he? There we go. So that's just taking a little bit of colour in there, so it gives it a little bit more interest. Let's grab my other one, do the same, hopefully do a better job of lining it up. Always a little bit difficult when you're on camera, because obviously I can't kind of get all the way over. What I usually do is try and line up sort of ears and something that's sort of fairly solid. There we go. Oh, I've done a better. Generally do, yeah, a bit better on that one. Now you've also got some fabulous little stamps to fill in that acorn as well. You could obviously colour it in by hand if you wanted, but I'm just going to use some cinnamon cider, and this is going to cover the top, full strength, and then the acorn itself, you can see there's a little bit where the hand goes, and you can just pop that in there for the lighter acorn. So I'm going to pop the stamps out of the way. So we've got our 3 pieces now, so we can start with creating our card. So start off with really easy standard card base, and I've just created one that is 10.5 by 29 centimetres, scored in half at 14.5. Okay, then my next layers, I've got a layer of cinnamon cider, and that is 10 by 14, so that's my front. And then I have 2 more pieces. I have some Cajun Craze and I have some Bumblebee. And the Cajun Craze, this is 9 by 11, and I'm just going to score that at 10 centimetres. And then the next one is 7 by 11, and again score at 10 centimetres, or at 1 centimetre on this side, either or. Okay. So next we want to use some of our lovely DSP. So we want a piece to go on our middle panel, And I thought I might go for something slightly different this time. So I thought I might go for this one here and then use the top and bottom. Or I might go for the same again. What do we think? Okay. Okay, so what you want is, while I'm deciding, you want 2 pieces that are 2 by 9.5. So that's what I'm going to do here. So in this one I'm actually going to go for the 2 first, because that keeps me a nice big piece, and then just trim that down to 9.5. And then I'm going to go for this middle piece. So the DSP here, I'm going to want 8.5 by 9.5. Yep, because it's going to fit onto this one, so we want it just 0.5 centimetre. So I can cut my 8.5 and then just trim this down to 9.5, like so. So now we can get on with assembling our card. So obviously the inside, really easy, because that's just adding our main panel. So all I'm going to do there is just grab my seal or some wet glue, either or. It's just going flat and this piece isn't moving at all, so you don't need to worry about that extra strength that you need. And then pop the leaves down that bottom right corner, like so. Next, before we stick this down, we're going to want to pop our DSP on. So the next bit is actually the top and bottom pieces of the DSP. And the reason I do that is because that will help centralise our panels. So like so. Now with the panels, just to make it easier, I'm just going to trim just a tiny little scrap off there, and this is going to go on the back here. I'm going to centralise it, and I'm going to put this flap on first, and I'm going to use some wet glue because we want a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm just going to line that up between those two and then fold that over and give that a good press down, like so. Next we're going to do the same with our front panel. Again, really good crease with a bone folder if you've got one handy. And then again, wet glue on the side there. And this one again, we're popping and centralising. So just allow yourself a fraction of time. And again, I'm just going to push that down and reinforce. Now we can add this layer to the front of our card. So I'm going to use my Seal Plus here because it's obviously got extra layers, and I want to make sure that sticks really well and to the front. So making sure we've got our card open in the right way. Okay. So next we can add our, we can make a mess of my glue. Right, pick up the wrong one. Okay. In fact, what I'll do is then grab my Tombow. Just quickly add that on there. What I did was I caught the edge of my card with the glue. So first flap. Then we want to add our layer of DSP in there. Actually, with that bumblebee there, it really does bring it to life. And then finally, we can add that inner panel. And again with this one, just make sure that you're lining it up just in the middle there, evenly spaced. So this flap covers it up. There's our second flap, and there we have our pair of fun birthday cards using nuts about squirrels. If you'd like to purchase any of the products you've seen, pop along to my blog or click on the description bar below and you'll find the links to purchase them there. And don't forget to grab yourself a paper while it's available. Thanks for watching. Come back and see me again soon. Bye now.